Hey, everybody, it's Tim. No Joy this week. She had a little technical difficulties, but we're still doing live and found. And we're having a fun topic this week. It's all about say what you mean or write what you mean so AI understands you. We sit here all the time and we talk about how AI is this super brain and how it tries to do, is going to take over the world. It's not. It's not. It's not. It is gets confused just like we humans do. If you ever have written something and run on sentences without any uh, punctuation and get confused, that's how AI feels a lot about our writing. So we talked about last week about how schema does stuff behind the scenes. So every small business can use schema to be found. This week, it's all about how you can interact with AI and spell things out for AI. AI doesn't magically know what you mean. It only knows what you say. And if your content is vague, fluffy, inconsistent, AI will guess, and I'm going to be honest with you, it's going to guess wrong most of the time. So, what does this mean exactly? It's not going to find you when you're trying to be AI visible. So, we're going to fix that today. We're going to find out and we're going to go through how you can say something exactly like AI is looking for it. So, by the end, we'll do a simple clarity test that you can run in under 30 minutes. I'm going to be honest, it probably will take you less than 30 minutes, but block off about 30 minutes of your time and you will be found first by AI. So, why does AI mess things up when words aren't clear? Well, because AI doesn't think. I know we want to believe that AI thinks, but it doesn't think. It interprets. AI interprets patterns. So if your business says you're a community hub for morning energy, and let's say you're a coffee shop, that is such a Colorado way of saying something too. Community hub for morning energy. AI doesn't know if you're a coffee shop, if you're a co-working space, or a yoga studio. When words are fuzzy, AI fills in the blanks. And like we said before, it will fill them in wrong. So this sounds a lot like, Google's helpful content update. And are they the same thing? And they are. They are. Google's latest update is proof that clear, people first writing is going to win in the long run. Google right now they punish vague marketing style speak and keyword stuffing. So if you're talking like a used car salesman, Google doesn't like it, ChatGPT doesn't like it, Perplexity doesn't like it. They want content that simply says who you are, what you do, and where you do it. Same thing that AI is looking for. Just simple, straightforward, say it and say it clearly. So let's talk about a first fix. How do I make sure that AI gets me right? Well, the biggest the biggest thing I would say is define before you describe. Don't lead with slogans, lead with facts. We're going to use one of our favorite clients, the Anderson Injury Law Firm here in Colorado Springs. What might work on a billboard, what might work on an ad, like been hurt, we fight for your justice is not going to get you found with AI. What AI is looking for is Anderson Injury Law is a personal injury firm in Colorado Springs. That is clear, and that is the stuff that AI grabs first and holds on to. It doesn't like the fluffiness. It doesn't like the commercial background. It likes plain language. And honestly, nobody really talks in ads, but customers do want creativity. And all right, customers love creativity, but they love it after they found you. The first step is to be found, Then you can be creative. Creativity without clarity is like a billboard without an address. AI needs the street number before it can send people your way. So those billboards that say stuff like Joe knows, and then you see a little website at the bottom, and you go to that website and you find out that Joe sells jewelry or something like that. It's great for human curiosity, but it's horrible for AI visibility. So what about keywords? We still love our keywords. Are they still as important as they were before? Yes, they are, but they have to be conversational keywords. You have to use phrases that customers actually say. And what do we mean by that? When people are doing and using AI, they're not going to type in a slogan like you use, right? Nobody's going to type in like our slogan, magic with technology. What they want to know is exactly a question that they're going to say. Like, for example, let's say you are a medical supply company. You want to make sure that your words are clear and that you answer the question, where can I rent a wheelchair in Colorado Springs? If you answer that question in your content on your website, in your FAQs, you're going to be found better than matching words like personalized mobility solutions. Clear answers to questions. Think of it this way. AI is like talking to your grandma or a 10-year-old. And think about how they would ask a question. They would ask it in human terms with human language, and that's what you want to guide towards. So think of, a friend of ours sometimes says, think of AI as the most sophisticated toddler in the world. Well, think of answering questions like your grandma or your 10-year-old nephew would ask. That's kind of what you're gearing towards for your clarity. So what about those businesses that call themselves one thing on LinkedIn and another on their website? What happens then? And this is a more common trap than I had realized. A lot of businesses have inherited a LinkedIn page, or they've changed their name of their company when they started their LinkedIn, and they didn't go back, and they may have changed their website, but they haven't changed their LinkedIn. You need to make sure, and what AI is looking for is consistency. So you want to make sure your LinkedIn page is your AI Wizards or your company name, that your website is your name, that your Facebook is your name. Facebook is not as important as LinkedIn, but if you get your website and your LinkedIn cohesive, that is fantastic. And that's what AI is looking for. If you don't, then AI thinks you might be two businesses. Now that might seem like a great, I'm getting double the bang. You're really not, because you're creating blanks and you're creating gaps that AI doesn't know what to do with. And if it doesn't know what to do with it, it's going to skip you and you're not going to be AI visible. So make sure that everything that's out there that is you is consistent across the board. So what are the biggest pitfalls that people run into? Well, number one is acronyms without context. And this is real tough for businesses, is that you're so used to using an acronym, an acronym like ROI, return on investment, things like that. You don't want to use those company or those industry specific acronyms without context. And what do we mean by context? Explain what they are. So if you have an acronym that is a short, like SCUBA stands for self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. That is what AI is looking for. You can use the acronym, but you need to explain what it is. Jargon. And this is common in a lot of what we've seen are a lot of our FAQs, jargon that nobody uses outside of your industry. If you're using some type of jargon that is very specific to your industry or even your business, you want to avoid that. Avoid anything that's jargon. Avoid fluffy phrases. One of the greatest fluffy phrases that people have used are innovative solutions. Well, AI doesn't know what an innovative solution really is. It can't define that. So you want to make sure that you have defined that specifically for your business. So, and we'll talk a little bit in a few seconds about things that you can do to avoid that. If your website is used as you've copy and pasted things from like maybe your parent company, or you saw something on a website once, you went, wow, I'm going to use that, and you copy and pasted it, and it's like it becomes a boilerplate. You want to avoid those, because if you tie a description to back with the manufacturer, or worse yet, if you tie back something that your competitor's using too, you're not going to be found by AI. AI more than likely is going to point to your competitor or the manufacturer where you got that. So you want to put it in your own words, putting your personalization into it with your information. And of course, we want to avoid keyword stuffing. Keyword stuffing used to be vogue, and Google's gotten better about finding it, and AI definitely is getting better about finding it. You don't want to stuff keywords. So you don't want to say the greatest dentist in Colorado Springs with the greatest whitening techniques and the greatest ability to avoid pain. That keyword stuffing you want to avoid. Natural language, how people talk. Nobody says, it's the greatest and it's the greatest, unless they are, again, a used car salesman. So how do you fix it? All right. So what content, how do you make your content clearer? All right. Well, first thing you want to do is it's really a 3-step process. So let's take your homepage, for example. So take what's on your homepage and read through it and make sure that in the first 100 words of that description, you have your name, your company name, what you do, your service, and the location where you're at. That needs to be in the first 100 words. Don't worry about the catchy stuff for people to read it. That will get you AI found, is in the first 100 words are your name, your service, your location. Step 2 is copy and paste what's on your homepage and read it into your ChatGPT or your Perplexity, your Claude, or whatever. And ask it this simple question: who is this business? Then ask it, what do they do? And where are they? If AI reads through it and gets it wrong or guesses, then you need to rewrite it. These are simple things that you can do. Like I said, it's a 30-minute fix. If you are not in control, if you have somebody else do the maintenance on your website, you need to work with them on this as well, but get it really defined so you can send them to them. And you just want to keep on working through it until AI nails it. Once AI nails who you are, your name, what you do, and where you're at, you just want to keep writing. That's why you want to do it. That's why I said this is the 30-minute test that you can do. I really honestly believe that you can get this done in less than 30 minutes. Just don't be afraid to use AI. And if it's not clear, ask AI, ask ChatGPT, ask Perplexity. What would make this clearer to be found by you? Be found by ChatGPT, be found by Perplexity. Just ask that question. How can I word this so that I can be better found by you when somebody does an AI search? So Let's imagine a homepage that says, we provide innovative wellness solutions for the community. That is total fluff. And you know it is. You now know it sounds great. You know, it sounds wonderful, but it fails. It doesn't answer who you are, what you do, and where are you. AI has no clue. So let's say it's a wellness center. It's a chiropractic clinic here in Colorado Springs. So you need to rewrite it as Peak Wellness is a chiropractic clinic in Colorado Springs that helps patients with back pain, mobility, and recovery. So who are we? Peak Wellness. Where are we at? Colorado Springs. And the last question is, remember, is what is your service? Chiropractic service for mobility and recovery. That phrase is so much better than we provide innovative wellness solutions for the community. Make that tweak and AI visibility will improve immensely and instantly, believe it or not. Once it's posted, it's out there. So what do we want to walk away with from today? Well, last week we talked about how schema uses AI labels and goes behind the scenes. But today we're going to do something that's upfront, that's going to help AI, and it's going to help people too. Because when you write clearly for AI, you're also writing clearly for people. And remember, without clarity, AI guesses, and when AI guesses, your visibility disappears. So bottom line, schema gives AI the labels, but clear writing gives it the story. So when your words are simple, specific, and consistent, AI doesn't have to guess, and your business gets found. So take a few minutes, do that check of your homepage, and then just bring it onto your other pages as you go. Get your homepage fixed, then go to your work on your maybe the next page to work on might be your staff, your mission, whatever. Just go to each page and make sure that it's AI visible. Run it through ChatGPT, run it through Perplexity, and refine it until AI describes your business the way you want it described. Of course, if you need help, comment below or reach out to us at youraiwizards.com. As always, like us on LinkedIn, follow us on Facebook, X, and TikTok, and make sure you to join us next week. We're moving on from words to images. So we'll show you what alt text is about. And if you want to preview, look at some of our posts this week, and you'll see the first comment is always an alt text comment. So we'll talk more about why we do that and why it's not optional anymore if you want to be AI found. You know that old saying, a picture's worth 1,000 words? We're going to prove that to you next week with AI. So until then, it's been Tim. Joy will join us again next week for our next version of Live and Found. And let's get you found first. Have a great week, and we'll see you next Wednesday at 1 o'clock Eastern Time.